No, that is not a mistake. An RXV lithium cart with their 4.0 batteries is $11,900. Electric versus gas, QuieTech versus RXV. In this video, I'm going to give you pros and cons to both of these machines to help you determine which machine is going to be right for you. Plus, if you stick around till the end of the video, we're going to do some drive-by sound comparisons so you can hear both these machines for yourself. As long as I've been in the golf cart industry, there's always been the question of what's better, electric or gas. A lot of it's going to come down to what you intend on doing with your cart. So here I've got the two carts that I feel like are at the top of their industry in their respective categories. We've got a E-Z-Go RXV electric cart and a Yamaha QuieTech fuel-injected gas cart. If you're in the market for a new golf cart, chances are you've looked at least one, if not both of these carts, and if you haven't, you need to. So what are the pros to going with an electric powered cart? One, they're quiet, they're easy to maintain, that's all I got. Well, let's break that down a little bit. So as far as being quiet, the Yamaha QuieTech cart is rated at 1 decibel louder than E-Z-Go's RXV in their drive-by comparison. That's 1 decibel sound difference. So let's break down the maintenance differences between an electric and a gas cart. With an electric cart, they recommend checking the water level in your batteries at least once a month and adding water as needed. You're also going to be inspecting the terminals for any type of corrosion that needs to be cleaned and recoated as needed. The electric cart is going to be getting plugged in every night or any time that it's not getting used to keep those batteries fully charged. If you forget to plug your cart in or have kids that like to use the cart and then don't plug it in when they're done, you're going to come out and hop on a cart that has batteries that are either completely dead or dead enough that you get a block down the street and then it dies on you. With a gas-powered cart, you're going to be checking your engine oil once a month. Involves pulling the dipstick out, making sure your oil level's where it needs to be, putting it back in. And then you're going to be putting gas in this cart every several months, depending on how often you use it. I have some people that go 6 months or more until they need to add more gas to the tank. Then you're going to be changing oil on your gas-powered cart once a year. So if you have a lawnmower that you change oil on once a year, change oil on your golf cart at the same time that you service your lawnmower. Another big factor to take into consideration when you're shopping for a golf cart, if you're going to be using it around the neighborhood or the lake, everyone wants to know how fast can they go. Well, from the factory, a fleet cart is going to be set to run, whether it's gas or electric, around 13 miles an hour. Most of those you can turn up to around 19 miles an hour by either reprogramming it or turning up the governor. Adding taller tires and wheels are going to help your speed as well. But what is the top speed that these carts are actually capable of by making a few modifications to them? If you're really trying to get maximum speed out of these carts, you do have a couple of different options with both machines. The RXV can be reprogrammed to run 25 miles an hour or more if you can find someone that has a programmer and is willing to turn it up that much for you. Most dealers will only turn these up to 19.5 miles per hour. The gas-powered Yamaha carts, you can turn the governors up on those yourself just using a 10mm wrench, and with the factory size tires on them, you can get them up around 17 to 18 miles an hour, and if you put a 19 or a 20-inch tall tire on them, you can get them up right around that 19 to 20 miles an hour. If you want to go more speed past that, you can change the gears in the rear end, which is a little bit more complicated process, and it's going to cost you a couple $100. But by doing that and running a taller tire, you can easily get these carts up to anywhere from 25 to 28 miles per hour. The programmer that you have to be able to turn up the speed on these RXVs is supposed to be for dealers only. There are some individuals out there that were able to buy ones like off of eBay, and that programmer cost $1,000. So it's not something that just anybody is going to go out and buy just to turn their cart up. You're either going to have to buy the cart from somebody that has one that's willing to turn the cart up for you, or if you're buying it from a dealer, they're only going to turn it up to 19.5 miles an hour. One of the big features that gets brought up a lot on the RXVs is that it has an electric braking system, or a motor brake, or regenerative braking. They're all talking about the same thing. So the electric brake, when you let off of the gas pedal, it starts applying that electric brake, and once you come to a stop, it locks the brake. So there's no parking brake. You just let off the pedal, it comes to a stop, and then the brake is set so it doesn't move. They have had some issues with that brake failing and the cart's rolling away because they don't have any other parking brake. There is no mechanical parking brake that you can set. It just has that electric brake. So they have had issues with that electric brake failing and the cart's rolling away down the hill, and I think one guy actually got ran over by a cart after the brake failed. Yamaha also offers regenerative braking on their electric AC carts as well. So that is not a system that is just proprietary to E-Z-GO. Yamaha offers it as well. But their carts still have mechanical braking on top of that regenerative braking, so you don't have to rely just on that electric brake. A big thing that you need to take into consideration is the range of these carts. What you're going to be doing with it, how far do you need these carts to be able to go? An electric cart with a good set of batteries is going to run between 20 to 30 miles on a single charge. A gas-powered cart is rated at 45 miles per gallon and has a 5.8 gallon tank. So they're going to get around 250 miles on a tank of gas. When talking about electric carts, you need to take in the consideration for what a set of batteries is going to cost you. A good set of batteries that's well maintained in these electric carts are going to last around 5 to 7 years. If they don't get properly maintained, they can last as little as 2 to 3 years. But a full set of good batteries with labor to install them is going to end up costing you somewhere around $1,000. Now that $1,000 is something that you're going to continue to pay every 5 to 7 years for as long as you own that cart. Can you buy batteries that cost less than $1,000 a set? Yes, you can. There are several companies out there that you can buy batteries for $700 a set. But are you going to get a 5 to 7 year lifespan out of those cheaper batteries? No. You're going to get closer to a 2 to 3 year lifespan out of them. Batteries really are one of those things that you get what you pay for. The better of a battery you buy, the longer of a lifespan you're going to get. So in the long run, you're better off spending a little bit more money and getting a better set of batteries instead of going with the cheap batteries and only getting 2, 3, maybe 4 years out of them. One thing to keep in mind on an electric cart is as those batteries get older, start getting up 4, 5, 6 years old, your run time or distance that you can go on a full charge starts getting shorter and shorter and shorter as those batteries get weaker and weaker, and it eventually gets to the point where you just can't make it as far as you need to on a single charge. Then you know that it's time to replace your batteries. On a gas-powered cart, you're going to get 45 miles to the gallon as long as there's gas in the tank, and you're going to have full power and full speed. Another issue that you need to be aware of when you're comparing gas versus electric is if the cart is not going to be getting used on a regular basis. If it's going to go get parked at a lake house somewhere and only get used a couple of times a year, an electric cart, the batteries just cannot handle sitting all the time. The batteries will get sulfated, which ends up blocking up the plates so that they can't hold as good of a charge as they should be able to. So your batteries on an electric cart are going to go bad faster if the cart just sits all the time. Where on a gas-powered cart, as long as you've got fuel stabilizer in it, you shouldn't have any issues with the fuel going bad on you, and it should have no running problems even if it has to sit for an extended period of time or if it sits all winter long, that's not going to hurt a gas-powered cart like it's going to hurt the batteries on an electric cart. Now, if we're talking about batteries, we do have to take into account lithium batteries. So they have came out with lithium batteries that will go in these golf carts. But the biggest factor that comes into play with lithium batteries is the cost of them. A set of lithium batteries to replace your factory batteries is going to run you somewhere around $2,500. So if you figure a normal set of batteries cost $1,000 and a lithium battery costs $2,500, but those lithium batteries are rated for around a 10-year lifespan, but honestly, they haven't been on the market long enough for us to really determine if that's how long they're actually going to last. But say they do last 10 years, you paid $2,500 to get a battery that's going to last you 10 years, or you pay $1,000 to get a battery that's going to last you 5 years. So you could buy 2 sets of lead acid batteries to get you to 10 years for $2,000, where that lithium battery cost you $2,500. So other than only having to replace that battery once in a 10-year period instead of twice, why else would you end up spending $500 more to get that lithium battery? In theory, that lithium battery is going to go longer on a charge. There again, the lithium batteries just haven't been around long enough to really be a proven battery to say that yes, you're going to get X amount of miles on a single charge. On a gas-powered cart, as long as there's gas in the tank, you hit the pedal and go. So if you've got 6 gallons of gas, you're going to go 250 miles. Another issue that gets brought up a lot of times on our gas-powered carts is the smell of them, that you get that exhaust, fumey smell when you're driving a gas-powered cart. A couple of notes to make about the fume smell is if you have a full windshield on your cart, that creates a little bit of a vacuum area behind the windshield. So that exhaust gas is going to kind of get pulled back up on you if you have your windshield up. If you're running a car without a windshield, you're not going to smell it as much. Also, on these QuieTech carts that are fuel injected, they are programmed to run a little bit richer on startup to help that engine start and get up to operating temperature. Once they get up to temperature, the fuel mapping leans them back out, and by then the muffler is up to operating temperature, which a lot of those exhaust gases get burned as they're going through the muffler. So then by the time the cart is actually up to temperature, you don't smell that exhaust smell nearly as much as when it's cold. If you want to talk about a fume smell though, you do need to take into consideration electric carts, that the first time that you boil your batteries over in your garage, it's going to smell like rotten eggs for a couple of days, as well as the battery acid that you just got all over your floor is going to ruin your concrete forever. There's no way that you can fix that. Make sure if you're parking your electric cart on concrete, it needs to have some sort of a catch pan underneath of it to catch any battery acid that does boil over out of your battery. I also want to make a note to never wash an electric cart while it's parked on concrete. You will permanently stain your concrete from the battery acid and corrosion that you're going to be washing off of your batteries. Another issue that you need to be aware of on electric carts is the cost to repair them. Nobody really thinks about what happens when an electric cart actually breaks down, when it's not just a battery issue, when something goes wrong with the controller or the charger or the motor. Those parts get very expensive to replace. An electric motor can cost up to $1,000 just for the motor. The charger can be anywhere from $500 to $700, and the controller is going to be around that same range as well. So when something does actually happen to your cart, other than batteries that needs to be replaced, it gets very expensive very quick. I have seen several instances when the cart was parked somewhere and plugged in, and that building or the power line near it got struck by lightning, and it wiped out the charger and the controller, that both had to be replaced at the same time and ended up costing thousands of dollars in repair from a simple lightning strike. So if that happens to you, you better hope that you had insurance to cover that repair. On Yamaha's gas-powered carts, they rate their engines to play 36 holes a day for 20 years. That's the engine lifespan on these carts. So if you think about that, if this cart spent its whole life playing 2 rounds of golf every day for 20 years before it would need that engine rebuilt. But that's not what happens. These carts go spend 3 to 5 years on a golf course if you're buying a used one that was a fleet cart. So it played 36 holes a day for 3 to 5 years. Now when it goes to an individual, they're not going to play 36 holes a day. You know, whether they're using it around town or around the lake or whatever they may be doing with it, chances are that lifespan is going to get extended significantly because it's not getting ran nearly as much as what Yamaha did their rating at that 36 holes per day. I do want to make a note that gas-powered carts do have one battery, just like your car does, to be able to start that engine. So they do have a battery that may need to be replaced every 5 to 8 years. But that's only buying one battery instead of 4 or 6 batteries like you would for an electric cart. I do want to talk for a couple of minutes about resale value. So typically an electric cart, you're going to buy it either new or from a refurbisher that's going to have a new set of batteries in it. You run that cart for 5 to 7 years. Once those batteries start getting weak and need to be replaced, that's when a lot of people think about, well, I'll just sell the cart and go buy a different one. Or they figured out that they didn't really like the electric cart and they want to go to gas. So then you're trying to sell a cart with dead batteries because you don't want to pay the $1,000 to replace them right before you sell the cart. So that really kills the resale value of this cart because it needs $1,000 worth of batteries. On a gas-powered cart, they hold their resale value significantly better because there's no reason that you would buy a gas-powered cart and then have to immediately put $1,000 into it. You're going to buy it and maybe do an oil change because you're not sure if the previous owner did an oil change recently, and you're going to put gas in the tank and you're going to go drive it. So you know that there shouldn't be any big surprises when you buy that gas-powered cart. Or you may buy an electric cart that somebody told you has a good set of batteries, so you don't know that they're actually bad and you're going to have to replace them right away. When you just go to look at a used electric cart, you really don't have any good way of knowing how good the batteries are unless you just hop on it and try to take it for a 10-mile test drive to really determine if those batteries are good or not. Typically, the problems that I see with a gas-powered cart is going to be fuel related, and those issues could have been prevented if they would have bought good quality fuel and put a fuel stabilizer in the tank when they filled it up with fuel. These carts go so long on a tank of gas that you do have to be aware of that fuel can go bad over time. So to prevent from having fuel problems, add some fuel stabilizer every time that you put gas in the tank so that you don't have issues with that fuel getting old on you. It's also worth mentioning that if you live in an area that has a lot of hills, steep inclines and declines, the gas-powered carts are going to handle those hills significantly better than an electric cart is going to. The gas-powered carts, their clutching can downshift and you'll keep all your speed and power whether you're going on flat ground or uphill. On an electric cart, especially as your batteries get older and weaker or as they're just more drained down on their charge, you're going to have less hill climbing capabilities, and if the hill's steep enough, you just won't be able to climb it at all. Whereas on a gas-powered cart, it doesn't matter how steep the hill it is, as long as your tires aren't spinning out, you're going to climb the hill. So if we're talking about the differences between the RXV and the QuieTech, we also need to talk about the difference in price. So this is pricing as of today, which is the beginning of February 2021. I called our local dealer for the EasyGo pricing. They told me that starting out, the cheapest one that you're going to buy off the showroom is going to be a Freedom model. You actually can't even go there and buy an RXV fleet model. They don't sell them. He told me that the fleet models weren't available to the general public, which that would blow my mind if EasyGo really isn't selling fleet models to the general public and you have to buy a Freedom model. But anyways, if you're looking at buying a Freedom model, which is going to come with halogen head and tail lights, and it's going to come with the high speed code, so it's going to go 19.5 miles an hour, but it's going to come with your factory tires, an 18-inch tall tire on an 8-inch steel wheel, and have lead acid batteries, you're going to be right around $8,600, and it's going to come with a 1-year warranty. If you're willing to spend the extra money up front and get the Freedom model with the lithium batteries, they have 2 different battery options in either a 2.0 or a 4.0. The 2.0 is going to cost you right around $10,400, and the 4.0 is going to cost you right around $11,900. And we're still just talking the base Freedom model with the halogen head and tail lights and the stock tires and wheels. So let's take a look at the QuieTech. So if you're going to buy brand new off the showroom, a fleet QuieTech, which you can get a fleet model QuieTech from a dealer, you can usually pick from about 8 or 9 different color options on your body. And if you just get it with the stock 18-inch tall tires on an 8-inch wheel, you're going to end up spending right around $6,300, and you're going to get a 4-year bumper-to-bumper warranty. If you're willing to spend a little bit more money, you can get the QuieTech PTV model, which comes from the factory with LED head and tail lights, a 20-inch tall tire on a 10-inch wheel, a horn, a fuel gauge with an hour meter, a rear view mirror, and their cushion grip steering wheel. That cart's going to run you right around $7,700 to $7,900. So even getting the upgraded PTV model with all the accessories is still going to be almost $1,000 cheaper than what the base RXV Freedom model is going to cost you. And you're going to get a better warranty. So to break that down again, the cheapest RXV that you're going to buy off the showroom is going to be $8,600 versus a fleet QuieTech model at around $6,300. That's $2,300 more to get the RXV over the QuieTech. And you're also looking at a 1-year warranty versus a 4-year warranty. So just to make myself clear on that, you could almost buy 2 Yamaha QuieTech fleet carts for what 1 RXV Lithium cart is going to cost you. If you are interested in looking at an electric Yamaha cart, they do offer their AC in a fleet and a PTV model, and they're going to be right around $100 more than what the QuieTechs are as the fleet or the PTV model. So for an AC fleet cart, you're going to be around $6,400, and for an AC PTV cart, you're going to be right around $7,800 to $8,000. Now the pricing that I'm giving you is just to give you a rough idea of what these carts are selling for. This is this current time and my current market. So you need to check with your local dealers to see what their pricing is. So I know I've thrown a lot of information at you guys here, and I know that there's going to be some hardcore electric guys that are going to be telling me just how wrong I am in the comments down below. But honestly, I would love to talk to somebody that could logically disprove any of the information that I presented here. Well, that's going to wrap it up for today, guys. If you got some good value out of this video, please hit that like button. Consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.